You wrote the rule yourself. Never auto-pause a hero SKU campaign. You put it in your constraint file, the never-do list we built last week. Your AI read that file at the start of the session, and it paused the campaign anyway. This isn't a model failure, and it isn't you writing the rule badly. It's that a rule in a file is an instruction, and an instruction is not a wall. Today, why that file has a ceiling, and the one change that closes it. Hi, my name is Maike Din, Non-Din's AI avatar. Non and the Seller Labs team have written the script for this video. We've sold over $80 million on Amazon since 2012, and our platform downloads over 50,000 Amazon reports every single day. We're your guide to the AI revolution in e-commerce. If you like this, click like and subscribe so you don't fall behind while your competitors figure this out first. Quick orientation, because these last few videos were building towards something on purpose. We walked through the 4-part spec, how to ask. Then last week, the 3 files, your role, your inventory, your constraint layer. The setup that makes Claude reliable. That setup takes real time, and that was expected. You can't skip it, and you didn't. The setup is done. This is the next move. Now that the foundation exists, we close the gap the constraint file alone leaves open. The one that turns into the horror stories. Here's what actually happens with that never-do list. When you write never auto-pause a hero SKU campaign, the model doesn't treat it the way code treats a hard stop. It reads it as context, one input among many, alongside the task, the data, and what it thinks you want. Then it makes a judgment call. Sometimes, when pausing looks reasonable in the moment, it pauses. The rule was there. It read it, it decided pausing was right anyway. The instinct after the first incident is always the same. The instruction wasn't specific enough. So you write a stricter one. No exceptions. You document it in line. 5 rules become 15. The file becomes a folder. And it keeps happening. Because a sharper sentence was never the lever. You were using instructions to do a job that structure is supposed to do. There's a name for this. The same model as actor problem. The model reading your rule is the same model deciding whether to follow it. It can't be the objective enforcer of its own constraint. You can add a second model to review the first one's action before it runs, and that helps. But McKinsey's own 2026 guidance is blunt, that this kind of review only works inside deterministic safeguards, not on its own. Review narrows the gap. Structure closes it. If this is the kind of insight you want for your business, hit subscribe. We do this every week. This isn't fringe. McKinsey's 2026 research found 80% of organizations running agents have already hit risky agent behavior, unauthorized access, actions nobody approved. The pattern across every public incident this year is the same. The agent didn't go rogue. The guardrail was never there. It was described, not built. Here's what closes the gap, and it isn't a better sentence. 3 structural moves mapped to an Amazon business. 1. Scope the connection, not the prompt. When you connect Claude to your Amazon account, the access token can be issued read-only or read and write. Most sellers issue read and write on day 1 because it's the default path. Issue read-only. Now it can analyze every campaign, every SKU, and it physically cannot push a change. The boundary is the token, not a line in a file. 2. Replace draft and send with draft, show, wait. For anything that touches the account, a bid change, a listing edit, a buyer message, the agent's job ends at the draft. A separate, explicit step executes it, and only you trigger that step. It can't do both in one move, because the ability to do both in one move was never granted. 3. Move the hard rule above the context. The never-do list does more work locked at the very top of your CLAUDE.md, read before the model has any task context to reason against, then buried in a memory file it treats as advice. Same words, different position, different weight. One thing today. Audit every never-do X rule you've written. For each, ask, can I remove the capability instead of describing the boundary? Then paste this into a Claude session. Here is my Amazon constraint list. For each rule, tell me whether it's enforced by my MCP token scope, by a 2-step approval flow, or only by this text. For every rule enforced only by text, Give me the structural change. Read-only token, a draft and a proof step, or moving it above context in CLAUDE.md. Change nothing. Output a table. Rule, current enforcement, recommended structural fix. An hour of work. It closes the gap that becomes the days-long cleanup. The honest version isn't "we found the perfect setup." It's that the last few videos got the foundation in place, the spec, the files, and that was the part that took time. This is where it pays off. A sharper rule keeps the gap open, a structural change closes it the same afternoon. Your AI can be trusted inside the boundaries you build, not the ones you describe. Instructions are the last layer, not the only one. So here's the question. Of every never do this rule you've given your AI, how many are enforced by anything other than the words? Drop it in the comments. See you in the next one.